Welcome back to Center College's webinar series for international students. Once again, we're very pleased to have you here today virtually. My name is Joy. I am the Associate Director of International Recruitment in the Center's Admissions Office. And today we'll be talking about scholarship and financial aid opportunities for international students here. I will start off by talking about the cost of attendance here as Ed Center as an international student, and we'll talk about different ways in which you can fund your education here by talking about different scholarships and financial aid. And after that, we have a few special guests to talk about one of our premier scholarship programs, the Lincoln Scholars Program, that many of you have heard of several times over the last couple of weeks in emails and on the website. So for that portion of the webinar, we'll have the director of the Lincoln Scholars Program lead the presentation, and some of his current Lincoln Scholars who are international students will be sharing their experiences. So before we start, I am gonna let the current Lincoln Scholars introduce themselves, as well as Anna, who is our tech assistant for today. So why don't we start off with Arthur, and then you can pop it over to another person.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Arthur. I'm from Brazil, born and raised, and I'm a junior at Center, and my major is data science, and my minor is international studies. And now off to Watika.
Hi, I'm Watika. I'm from Siem Reap, Cambodia. I am a junior, double major in economics and finance and international studies. And I pop it to Srija.
Hey everyone, I'm Srija. I'm from India. I'm a sophomore, and my intended major is biochemistry and molecular biology. And I'm going to pass it off to Anna.
Hello everyone, I'm Anna. I'm Global Center Ambassador. My intended major is behavioral neuroscience, and I'm a second year here. Thank you.
Thank you for all that introduction. So to start us off, we have some big numbers here, but this is not to scare you. This is just to make sure that everyone understands the cost of attendance and what goes into it. So the comprehensive fee to attend Center is about $63,000 a year, and that includes everything except your textbooks. So it includes your tuition, your room and board, because we are a residential college, and our comprehensive fee is about $10,000 to $15,000 less than comparable schools in the US. And like I said, it includes everything, right? Including your room and board, tuition. And for international students, there is about $5,000 additional expenses, which I'll show on the next slide. But to give you a breakdown of what the cost looks like in the comprehensive fee, about $50,000 is the tuition fees, and room and board is about $13,000. Now, not everyone pays this price. Not everyone pays the sticker price, because we offer generous financial aid and scholarship to all of our students. So more than 90% of our students will get some kind of scholarship and financial aid. And how we do this, we make Center's education affordable through scholarship and financial aid, which we'll touch on in about a second here. To also mention about the additional expenses, as an international student, you'll have about $5,000 more in additional expenses, whether it's health insurance. Health insurance is required by law for every international students, and at Center, you pay about $1,400 each year for your health insurance. It has a pretty good coverage, so that's required. As an international student, you would have to travel to the United States, so you also have to take into account your travel expenses. So it's the airfare, ways to get to Center, and then international students are expected to spend about $1,200 in books and things that you need for your classes. And then in addition to that, you also need some money for toiletries, your personal expenses. So that's about $1,200 and $1,200. So if you add all those up, it's about $5,300 in additional expenses in addition to your comprehensive fee. So that's the cost of attending centers. So if you think about it, the total figure comes up to about $68,000. And while that is a really high sticker price, like I said, no one pays that price because we have scholarship and financial aid. So starting with scholarship, all international, there are 3 different buckets of scholarships, and we'll talk about each one very briefly. In the first column that you see here, in the general merit scholarship column, they are great because you don't have to apply separately to be considered for our general merit scholarship. They are up to $30,000 per year, as long as you maintain the academic requirements for each of the general merit scholarship. And everyone, when they apply for admissions at center, all international students are considered for our general merit scholarship. And they're renewable each year, as long as you, like I said, you maintain the academics requirement for them. So first column, they're great, automatic consideration and nothing extra to apply. And then in the second column, we have our special scholarships, and those are scholarships like language scholarship, performing arts, visual arts. And those are also great because if you apply for a special scholarship and you receive a special scholarship, you can get additional money. You can stack it on top of your general merit scholarship. So you get more scholarship money, but you're only eligible to receive one, even if you apply for all 3 special scholarships. So that's something to note. And the special scholarships, many students have applied for special scholarship, especially language scholarship this year. We will not consider incomplete applications. So if you're applying for any of the scholarship, in order to be eligible, you need to also complete your admission application. So I'll say this one more time. If you apply for any of the special scholarship, but you don't turn in your admission application, you will not be considered for any of the scholarships. So please pay attention to those requirements. The special scholarships will also have a separate application, so make sure to check out those requirements as well, and there are specific deadlines. Last but not least, we have our Premier Scholarship, and I won't go into too much detail about the scholarship program. It's our Lincoln Scholars Program. If you receive the Lincoln Scholarship, every year we provide up to about 10 students are selected for the Lincoln Scholars Program, and if you are selected as a Lincoln Scholar, we take care of the entire cost of attendance for you. So that's what the Full Ride Plus means. In order to be eligible and consider for the Lincoln Scholarship, you will have to, number 1, complete your admission application, and number 2, complete the Lincoln Scholarship Program application, which is a separate application from your admission application, by December 1st. So once again, you have to complete both your admission application as well as a Lincoln Scholarship application by December 1st to be considered. If you do not complete one or the other, you will not be considered. So I know there's a lot of information out there. Make sure to check our website. It's all of these information, deadlines, requirements are all on our website. So in addition to scholarship and scholarship, we also provide some need-based financial aid. So if when international students apply, they're also considered for some need-based financial aid, and they are limited. On average, we provide about $11,000 in financial aid, and those are based on the demonstrated needs of the students. Students who receive a combination of merit scholarship and financial aid are expected to still invest around $25,000 in cost of attendance each year, unless they are a recipient of the Lincoln Scholarship Program. So the only financial document that you will have to submit to apply for financial aid is our Certificate of Finance form, and it is online. We do not require the CSS profile, so you don't have to ask us for CSS profile fee waiver. We do not require it, nor do we provide CSS profile fee waivers. So make sure to pay attention to those things. Other schools might require the CSS profile, but we don't. Cool. Now, the other big question is, how do I apply for scholarships and financial aid? If you're applying for general merit scholarship, you don't have to apply for general merit scholarship. You're automatically considered, and you will be considered for some need-based financial aid. If you're applying for a specific special scholarship or the Lincoln Scholars Program, remember that there is a separate application for those, so pay attention to the deadline. Like I said, we only require the certificate of finance form. You don't need to submit your bank statement or, other kinds of financial document. No CSS profile required once again, but you will have to complete all the forms that are required on our website in order to be considered for financial aid and scholarship. So that's how you would apply. Remember the form certificate of finance. That's an important form. And here we have some don't do these things. Do not ask for a CSS profile fee waiver, please, because we don't require one. So there's no reason for us to provide those fee waivers. We do not have fee waivers either. And like I said, if you want to be eligible for any of the special scholarships, don't forget to also apply for admission, because we have seen a lot of individual scholarship application without their admission application. So you have to apply for both. Otherwise, you will not be considered for those. And we also have the Center 8 form, and Center 8 form is for domestic American students. So please do not fill out the Center 8 form. You would have to be eligible to apply, fill out the FAFSA, which is for federal financial aid, and typically F1 international students are not eligible to fill out the FAFSA. And the other note that I will give before I turn it over to Dr. Shalkoff is F1 students, F1 visa students are not eligible for the Grissom Scholars Program, the Bonner Scholars Program, and the New Horizons Program. Those are for domestic American students only. So all the scholarship that we talked about earlier in the previous slide, you're eligible to apply for those, but the three that are on this slide, international students who will need an F1 visa are not eligible to apply. So remember those as well. And that would be the end of my part of the presentation. If you're joining us for the first time, make sure to fill out our pre-application form or our mailing list. All the information, you have seen this slide multiple times for those who have attended our sessions before. This little QR code will give you all the information that you need to apply as an international student, including admission process, scholarship application. If you have general questions, you can email it to us at intladmission@center.edu. If you have specific questions, I'm happy to answer them. You can email me at this address. And with that, I am going to turn it over to Dr. Robert Shalkoff to talk about the Lincoln Scholars Program. So, Dr. Shalkoff, the podium is all yours.
All righty. Well, thank you very much, Joy. As Joy just said, I'm Dr. Shalkoff, and I direct the Lincoln Scholars Program. And I'm joined this evening by 3 international students who are Lincoln Scholars, and knowing that some of you came in a little bit after they introduced themselves for the first time, I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves again. Utika, I wonder if you could start for us.
Hello again. My name is Utika. I am from Cambodia, Siem Reap, Cambodia. I am a junior, double majoring in economics and finance and international studies. Thank you.
And if I could ask Saridja to introduce herself next.
Yes. Hey everyone, I'm Srija. I'm from India. I'm a sophomore here, and my intended major is biochemistry and molecular biology.
Last but not least, Arthur.
Hello, everyone. My name is Arthur. I'm a junior at Center. I'm from Brazil, and my major is data science, and my minor is in international studies.
All righty. So let's get started. Joy has already kind of set the stage and let us know that the full ride scholarship, the Full Ride Plus, and we'll talk a little bit about what that means in a second, that is available to international students is the Lincoln Scholars Program. And I will also say that currently half of all Lincoln Scholars are international students. So if you're wondering whether international students are actually accepted into the program, I think that provides a clear answer that 20 of our current 40 scholars are international students, and we're joined here by 3 of them this evening. So I want to talk a little bit about what the Lincoln Scholars Program is, and give you a little bit of background. Sorry about that. A little bit of background about the scholarship itself. So first of all, the Lincoln Scholars Program is designed for exceptional young people like yourselves, the folks who are attending this session, who possess not only the deep desire to change our world for the better, but have also demonstrated that they have the intellect and the capacity to do so by being change agents in their communities or their schools, or perhaps even in the region in which they live in their nations. The Lincoln Scholars Program is named after the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln, and it celebrates his rise to the presidency of the U.S. from his humble beginnings, his humble birth, right here in the state of Kentucky. It also celebrates John Todd Stewart, who is an alum from many years ago, who actually knew Lincoln and encouraged Lincoln to study the law and became his first law partner. The goals of the program are relatively simple. There are 5 of them. And the first one is, in addition to the really wonderful liberal arts education that you're going to experience here at Centre College, the Lincoln Scholars Program is designed to build on that and to further hone and broaden your intellect. The program is also designed to promote and develop within you the grit and the tenacity that is needed to enact change in our world, in our society. The program also helps you learn how to more efficiently and better channel your drive and your desires into actionable ideas and activities. Furthermore, it is designed to help you develop and expand within yourself your capacity for leadership and for enacting change, as well as, and importantly, your compassion for the people that you are going to lead in these charges of change. And then finally, the program is designed through its activities to build within you the hard and the soft skills and the creativity that are necessary for folks to be change makers, innovators, and leaders after Centre College. And the way that we meet these goals and help you meet these goals is through the very unique programming of the Lincoln Scholars Program, which begins almost immediately after you are named a Lincoln Scholar. You then begin several months of virtual orientation, followed by a 10-day on-campus, in-person orientation that happens right before you begin your career as a Centre College student. During that time, you learn about the namesake of the program, Abraham Lincoln. You experience a leadership workshop where you learn how to further develop the leadership skills that you already have. And then you begin to chart your path and create a blueprint for the way that you're going to spend your 4 years as a Lincoln Scholar. And that is followed by a year later, a wilderness experience that you do in North Carolina that reconnects you to these ideas of Lincoln and leadership and the path that you have going forward. And while we don't have any first years in the room today, Sarija was actually one of the peer orientation leaders. And Sarija, I wonder if you might share a little bit of your takeaways from being a leader for the new cohort this year.
Yeah, so as Sensei was talking about earlier, it is tradition that the sophomore class of Lincoln Scholars um, are the peer orientation leaders for the incoming class. And I was one of the peer orientation leaders this year, and it was just really amazing to me to be able to like see people just a year later in the place I was a year ago. And it kind of taught me the value of mentorship and also to pick up the skills that are necessary to become a mentor later on, even while you are a mentee. So not only getting that guidance, but also learning how to share that guidance with others. And I think it's such a valuable experience that I've had, and it was such a good start for the year for me.
And Sarija is also the most recent student or one of a group of students who participated in the wilderness experience in North Carolina. And without giving away too much, Sarija, just give us kind of one impression of that time kind of being in the wilderness with your cohort.
Um, so putting it the most vague way I can, they just drop all 10 of you with an older person and two course instructors into the wild, and you have to figure everything out yourself. And when I say everything, I mean everything. And you can tell by the way he's laughing too. Um, but I think like it was really valuable to me to be able to have those 4 days away from campus and the regular stressors in my life to be able to just have that quality time with my cohort and to be able to like bond with them. And something that like we've taken away from the experience is kind of um, identifying each of our unique skills and kind of having those lead our future projects together. And right now we are in the makings of something. We're planning like this year's fall retreat, which I'm sure Sensei will touch on later. Um, and I can pop in to answer some of that too if he calls on me, but it was really valuable to me. Let's just say that.
Excellent, thank you. And those folks who are hearing about the Lincoln Scholars Program for the first time and hearing us talk about it for the first time might have noticed that Sarija referred to me by what the scholars call me, which is sensei. Just a little bit of a context for that. I spent most of my adult life in Japan as a professor at a state university there, where most of my students called me sensei. And the first cohort of Lincoln Scholars so many years ago decided that that was an appropriate name to call me, and I have been known by that since. So if you hear any of the Lincoln Scholars referring to this mysterious person named Sensei, they're referring to me. Okay, so the next part of the programming in which which is designed to help you gain those goals that I explained at the very beginning, is our academic year programming. And one of the main activities during the academic year are things that we call Lincoln seminars. These are 1 hour long seminars. They are led by an individual Lincoln Scholar, and everyone is required to give at least one Lincoln seminar during their time as a Lincoln Scholar. This is a time for scholars to share with the cohort and also with the campus at large, an issue about which they're passionate, which they have some deep knowledge, and which they're interested in either advocating for or raising awareness on campus. Arthur is the most recent presenter of a Lincoln seminar. And Arthur, I wonder if you could just tell us what you presented on and maybe one takeaway from that.
So last fall in November, I did my Lincoln seminar on data activism. So that already foreshadowed my decision to major in data science later in my sophomore year. And I just explained how data analysis and data science can be used to help social justice organizations and to promote more ethical decisions using technology, especially now where data is all around us and we have new tools like ChatGPT, and how can we use them more ethically. So I think it was a very nice experience for public speaking and also to dive into the major that I ended up choosing. So I think it connected very well with my professional plans as well.
And Wutika and Saridja, if you could just give us the theme of your seminar, that will, I think, help the folks who are on the call here understand the kind of breadth that these seminars kind of cover. Wutika, what was your seminar on?
My seminar was on culinary diplomacy and kind of talking about stereotype on Cambodian cuisine. So it's like not something related to my major, but more of like what I'm interested in. So some scholar can do that, like talk about issues and topic that are related, like they are passionate about. So I think it's like a very wide scope of like things you can talk about for the Lincoln seminar.
And Saridja is actually in the midst of planning her seminar. Could you just give us the title? We don't want to give up too much to the folks who are on the call who are actually going to participate in that seminar.
Yes, so my Lincoln seminar, which is going to be in less than 2 weeks, is on the issue of including trans athletes into sports and figuring out a sustainable and inclusive way to go about doing that.
All right, thank you very much. Next, this also occurs during the academic year. All first-year scholars will meet with me twice a month for anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes each time. And then sophomores, juniors, and seniors meet with me once a month and as needed. These individual one-on-one meetings are places where we prepare together for your Lincoln seminars. We discuss your themed summer enrichment experiences that I'll introduce in a couple of minutes. We also talk about your plans for internships or study abroad, and then importantly, the final project that you're going to do as a Lincoln Scholar. Wutika, I wonder if you could just give us a little bit of insight into, what these individual meetings are like, and maybe just kind of one takeaway from them.
For me, like individual meeting with Dr. Shalkov is like a way for me to kind of connect back with the program while like being as a student on Center College, to more of like reflect on how I perform as a student and also as the Lincoln Scholar. We discuss a lot of kind of goal setting for like my goal during this year as a Lincoln Scholar for the summer and also years ahead after I graduate and stuff like that. So I feel like this, for me, I use this time to kind of connect with Dr. Sharkov and kind of discuss issues, and I try to like figure out what kind of ask for advice and like maybe figure out what is my next step. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Also during the academic year, these happen periodically. We call them breakout seminars, and that's where a current Lincoln Scholar proposes a presentation or a workshop by someone who is already out in the world enacting real change. And we've had journalists come, we've had anti-racism activists come, we've had trans activists come to campus, as well as climate scientists. And most recently, we've had several Lincoln alums who have come back to talk about their journey after being a Center College student and a Lincoln Scholar, and how both of those things have shaped what they're doing and informed what they're doing and helped them in their path after graduating from Center College. Next, I want to talk a little bit about what happens during the summer. So during the summer, in between your first year and your second year, and in between your second year and your third year, you do what we call themed summer experiences. These are fully funded by the scholarship, and you might recall Joy talking about the Lincoln Scholars Program being a full ride plus. So in addition to covering the full and comprehensive cost of attendance at Centre College, you're also eligible for and you receive extra funding to do these 2 themed summer experiences. And you choose 2 of 3 themes, and you do 1 of those themes as a rising sophomore, you do 1 as a rising junior. And depending upon when you do it, you pursue that theme at a pre-established a partner with the Lincoln Scholars Program, or you have the option of doing your themed experience at a site that you have identified that fits the theme that you have chosen. Saridja has just finished her first themed experience. She did With Outstretched Hands, Serving Humankind. And Saridja, I wonder if you could just tell us very quickly what you did and one takeaway from that.
Yes, so I did the Shepherd internship and I was able to work in a free clinic in Roanoke, Virginia. And for me, that experience has really been about understanding the US healthcare in terms of not just the theory of it, but how the people at the ground level experience that system. And for me, I want to become a physician after college and after med school. And to be able to like understand the kind of system that I'm going into has been like really impactful for me both as an individual and a scholar who's hoping to make change.
And I think one of the kind of interesting things that sometimes folks do is to kind of connect their themed summer experiences. And they do this in different ways. And Utika has really kind of been able to do that in a very unique way. And I wonder if you could talk about the way that you combined your first themed summer with your second themed summer.
For my first theme summer, I did the Global Health Virtual Fellowship with the FIMREC Foundation for International Medical Relief for Children. But while doing that, because I was not like on site doing the clinical work, I was able to do research with Dr. Chelsea Cartwright from the International Study Department. So because of that experience during my first summer, this summer I proposed to because we did the preliminary research extended to Cambodia, which I was from, and then we kind of do preliminary research there on sport for developments and like youth and children organizations. So this kind of way that I kind of connect my first summer experience with my second summer experience. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. And then the last summer experience that you do is called an independent pre-professional project. You do this in the summer between your junior and your senior year. And compared to the themed summer experiences, this is substantially longer. In fact, it's about twice as long. It's usually about 10 or 11 weeks. And it is fully designed by Lincoln Scholars themselves. And it's a project that's aligned with their personal goals, their professional goals, and what they intend to do after Centre College. It is, as I said, fully imagined, conceptualized, and then planned by the scholar who works with me, and I kind of provide advice as we go, but the driving force behind the planning and the actual implementation of the project is the Lincoln Scholar themselves. And importantly, and very differently than the themed summer enrichment projects, this project is not funded by the scholarship. And I don't want anybody to have any misconceptions about the scholarship not having the money to fund this. We actually make a deliberate decision not to fund this because we believe that people who want to enact change in the world need to learn how to raise the money or find the money to actualize their ideas. And so a lot of the planning of this project is not only about what the scholar is going to be doing over the summer, but it's also about how they find or how they raise the funding to do that. And that's an important part of the learning process. Right now, both Wutika and Arthur are involved in the initial stages of planning their independent pre-professional project. Arthur, I wonder if you could just share with us just maybe one or two of your ideas of what you think you might be doing next summer.
So yeah, for next summer, it's a little bit of a continuation of the previous summer, where I was interning in a data analytics role. Just sort of transitioning to a slightly different role in data science. There is the returning offer, but Sensei and I are working in, analyzing what are the possibilities could happen. And I mean, in all these opportunities, the funding comes from somewhere that is not Lincoln itself this time around. So in terms of internships, it usually comes from the company if the company pays you. If it is a research project at a university, there is some stipend. So now I'm just in the process of figuring out ways that will happen. And I got all the support in this initial process. But we have already outlined the idea that we have for like next summer.
And I'm proud to say that of the 40 Lincoln Scholars who have already completed their independent pre-professional projects, everyone has found funding. So if you're worried about not finding funding, I think that our record speaks for itself. And then there are a couple of full cohorts. So this is the full 40-member Lincoln Scholar cohort activities that I would just want to touch on very briefly. There's the Lincoln Forum, which we hold every October, and that's where sophomores, juniors, and seniors report on their learning that they did over the previous summer. And so we just had this last week, and each of the scholars who are present here today presented at the forum about their activities and their learning this past summer. Additionally, and Sarija alluded to this when she was talking about different opportunities that Lincoln Scholars have to be leaders in the program. We have our Lincoln Retreat. We do this in the fall and the spring, and all 40 scholars participate in it, and it is planned by the sophomore cohort. And one of the ways that they prepare themselves for that is, as Sarija said, by going off into the woods and into the wilderness, and really kind of reconnecting with one another, but also testing out their leadership skills and their team building skills to get ready to plan these two very big events for all of the Lincoln Scholars on campus. And then finally, as if all of these activities weren't enough, if you felt you wanted to do more, there are opportunities for Lincoln Scholars to engage in what we call self-initiated projects. And these are projects that take place completely outside of the programming of the Lincoln Scholars program. They could be an on-campus project, they could be an off-campus project, and there's funding available for scholars to pursue these either on their own or in coordination with other folks. And an example of doing a project in coordination would be something that a scholar in the 3rd cohort and the 4th cohort did about 2 years ago. They did a series of remote workshops on sexual taboos and female pleasure, which led into a research project, which led into them designing a sex education program that could potentially be implemented on Center's campus. Other folks have used this money to go and to present on their research at regional or national conferences, but this is available and it's a completely optional part of the Lincoln Scholars Program, but an opportunity that you would have as a Lincoln Scholar. So that's it from me. I just want to kind of close with maybe some outcomes. You might be wondering what happens after you're a Lincoln Scholar. We have 4 full cohorts who have graduated from the program. Amongst those graduates are Fulbright Scholars, Humanity in Action Fellows, a Knight Hennessy Scholar, so a full ride at Stanford University, folks who are in the Peace Corps. We have our first ever from Center College Schwartzman Scholar. This is Uliana Bazavluk from Russia, who graduated last year. She's currently in Beijing doing a master's in global policy and global studies. We also have folks in graduate and PhD programs at places like Carnegie Mellon, Columbia University, Johns Hopkins, the London School of Economics, and other places. We have students who are at law schools like Georgetown and Indiana University, folks who are pursuing medical degrees. One Lincoln Scholar who's at a veterinary school right now, and then we have folks who are in the for-profit world and the nonprofit world, folks who are working as program analysts, folks who are working in communications and public relations, other folks who are working in the political arena and for the U.S. government, and then folks who are software engineers, or folks who are working in marketing and gaming and those kind of things. You might be wondering whether Lincoln Scholars need to be a certain major or pursue a certain career. I think that my list of our outcomes here makes it very clear that you can do whatever you'd like to do and major in whatever you'd like to major, and pursue the dreams that you have, and hopefully, and I can say with some confidence that I believe it does, the Lincoln Scholars Program provides you with the tools and the skills to go out and pursue your dreams and to enact positive change in our world.